You get to the end of the day and think, I did everything, so why do I still feel like this? You're not just tired, you're depleted. It's the mental load of motherhood, the patterns you inherited, and the pressure to keep adding more to your plate without ever putting anything down. If nothing changes, you don't just lose yourself, you slowly lose connection to your life and relationships too. But what if you were never meant to have and do it all? What if you were meant to just feel calm, safe, and truly supported? This is Confessions of a Working Mum, where we talk about what's really going on beneath the surface of holding it all together and what it might look like to live differently. Hello and welcome to Confessions of a Working Mum, the space where we get honest about the beautiful, messy reality of modern motherhood, ambition, and everything in between. I'm your host, Michelle Akester-Marsh, founder of Unshakable Mama, life coach and healer, wife and mum, and family-focused feminist supporting working mums to connect with more calm, confidence, and self-trust so they lead themselves and their families with more presence, ease, and joy. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Nicola Saunders from Nicola Saunders Therapy Services, who has courageously stepped forward to help shift the story for other working mums and their families, one mum, one boundary, and one belief shift at a time. So welcome, Nicola. Thank you so much for joining me. Would you like to share a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. So my name's Nikki Saunders and I am a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist for 26 years now. But my specialist area is that I work with parents of teens largely. So I help parents who feel like they're walking on eggshells, are tired of the eye rolls and want to bring more calm and confidence into their parenting journey because it can be really tough.
It sure can. And as I have a 13-year-old now,
Yeah.
it can be a challenge. I'm just at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've got two children. I've got a 25-year-old and a 21-year-old. So I've been through that that 18-year phase that we talk about, but actually they're not they're still children at 18 in my mind. So I'm still hustling with being a mum. That doesn't actually change, FYI.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah. But it's an incredible journey, but it's a challenging journey as well. And obviously that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, here to talk about your story. So are you
Yeah.
happy to share your story, your what I'm calling confessions, like the
Yeah.
story of the juggle and
Yeah,
how you've
absolutely.
arrived?
Now, I had my first child when I was 26. Now, my background is that my mum left the family home when I was 3 years old. And what I hadn't really appreciated when I had my daughter was I had this internal fear that I was going to repeat. I was going to, I had this thing that I might leave her at the age of 3. And I didn't realize that until she was born and she started to come up to that age of 3. And I was like, oh, what if I've got this thing? Because, what if I'm just like my mum?
Yeah.
Obviously we overcame 3 and and I didn't have this genetic thing, but it really got me thinking at that time around how I was raised and the influence that was having on how I was raising my children. Now I didn't have the level of awareness that I have now, and something I've already shared with you is that I remember it being really hard because I didn't really have any solid modelling as to what a mum should be. I just knew that mums were distant and evasive and disconnected. And I knew I didn't want that as a mum. I wanted to be connected with my children. But I didn't actually know what that meant. So I went through certainly those early years, and it really felt like a hustle. It really felt really hard. I didn't know really what I was doing, and I think a lot of mums feel like that. But I equally had nothing to draw from. And I remember I would wake up in the morning and think, right, 3 meal times, and they're going to be going back to bed. And that now I look back and I feel really sad for that because I just wanted to get today right. And and if I got to the end of the day and I wasn't beating myself up about something, which was invariably a common occurrence, then I'd feel like I'd won in some way internally. So I found it really hard, certainly in those early years of trying to figure out how I was going to do this really important thing when I didn't have a manual. I didn't know what to do.
That's deep, isn't it? And I think so often we don't necessarily have those people, those, people say to us, oh, you're being too hard on yourself, or connect with your intuition, or you're expecting too much of yourself. But it's like, well, how do I stop, or how do I change this? It's
Yeah.
like we don't actually
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
the info, the wisdom at that point necessarily to make the change.
Or maybe even not even the self-esteem or the confidence or
Yeah.
just that if you've already got a narrative internally of I'm not good enough, then
Mm,
that bleeds out into every area of our lives, including our parenting. Although I am on reflection, I am a big believer we have everything that we need within us. We just need to
same.
get past the noise and
That's it.
recognize, because we have been children, we know what we needed. We might not have been able to have articulated it, but intuitively we know what we need as a human. So we can tap back into that, but
Mm.
that's not always easy.
It's not, and that's why
No.
people have us to help them.
Yeah.
No. Oh wow, that's amazing. And you shared with me as well about marriages, like 42% of marriages
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
in
And
divorce. Tell me about
this
that.
is I think this is really sad. 42% of marriages end up in divorce. And I think there's multiple reasons around that. We live such a long period of time. We change so much as human beings, but I think there is no greater change than when we have children. As and I was sharing with you that we invariably, and not all parents have this or do this, but invariably the only people that we love unconditionally are our children. And if you think about it, we have conditional love for our partner. So when these little people arrive, all of a sudden they take a part of our heart that it hasn't been activated before. And our partners feel that shift. They feel that. So we can see how, we've got the hustle of raising these little people and trying to do the best we can. We haven't actually got an awful lot of time to invest in our relationship. So we can really see how we start to disconnect from our partner inadvertently. So, yeah, and I think I mean, there's much more to that than just that description, but we can see how that can impact the marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all goes very, very deep, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
so how would you say that all of this has impacted your life? Your stories impacted your life?
Gosh, hugely, hugely. When I realised and had an awareness of generational patterns and how they feature in our belief system, and how our parents upload what a parent is, how our parents upload what a woman is, what a man is, what a relationship looks like, it really landed with me, because not only did it make me reflect on my own parenting journey, but also, we talk about we don't have a manual, and actually our parents are our manual of how to do it or how not to do it. And the world is changing at warp speed. If anything, it's changed at warp speed in the last 50 years, more so than ever. So I think, this is why I specialise in the generational patterns and understanding what our belief system is sharing with us around our parenting journey and our expectations of ourselves as women, and also just, how we show up in the way that we want to. I'm a big advocate for, really being accountable for our failings. We are fallible humans. We are never going to be perfect parents. Let me tell you that I definitely didn't nail it. Even though I specialise in it now, I absolutely didn't nail it. But you know what? I share that with my children. I didn't nail that.
Yeah, but that makes you human, doesn't it? And that makes you even more lovable and
Yeah.
even more human. And I'm the same, and I will often say, hands up, I got that wrong. Oh, I wish I hadn't
Yeah.
have been like, that hadn't said
Yeah.
that or done that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think we need a lot more accountability when
We
we.
do. However, there is a bit of a caveat for that, because often parents can be really take accountability. You know, they hear this. We talk about be accountable for your mistakes,
Yeah.
but it's where it stems from. If it stems from fear, we can over apologize, we can over explain, we can be overly accountable for for actions within what's happened. Whereas if it's coming from a place of humble authenticity of, yeah, I'm a fallible human and that's okay. But if it comes from fear, often it's fear of what will our child think of us? What will they, will they reject us? So there is a caveat to that being accountable of saying, I'm accountable for my part, but actually I'm not the whole sum of this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that fine line, isn't it?
A
It's
very
always a
fine
fine
line.
line.
That's
Learning
parenting, right? There's a balance and it's a very fine line.
the balance. I don't know. I've got a bee in my bonnet about balance at the moment as well, about how we're striving for this, like, the scales to be balanced constantly. It's like it's about push and pull. It's about
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
about the flow and of the
yeah.
being able to adapt and
It
but
is.
anyway, this is not my story. This is not my thoughts. This is about you. So so coming back to you. So how would you briefly describe your life now?
Um, Immediately my brain just went to my relationship with my children.
Yeah.
You know, that has meant everything to me. And I wanted for my children what I didn't have with my parents. I wanted to be the parent they needed and the one that showed up in the way that they needed. They didn't always like it. They didn't always, they didn't always appreciate where I was at, certainly in their earlier years, because boundaries are so important, explaining those boundaries, and they don't always love that. But, uh, one thing if as a parent, if you've got a young person or a teen, I really want you to think 10, 20 years ahead, because that's what I did. I used to, I used to implement something with my child and think, right, whilst I'm doing this, how are they going to perceive this on reflection in the future? Are they going to see that I had their best interest? They may not like me right now, but why am I doing this? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing it for them? And
Yeah.
actually, it's not until they get to where they are now and beyond. I have a great relationship with my kids. My 21-year-old will contact or FaceTime me from university talking about everything, his challenges, and he was my willful child. He was the one that kicked against everything, and you would never have imagined that he would be tapping his mum up for a chat about the latest challenge he's having with his partner or his friends. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that.
Well, that's just owed to the all of the
Yeah,
amazing parenting you've given over the years.
but I didn't get it right. And that's the thing, that is the thing. I did not nail it. But what I did was I repaired really well when I
Yeah.
didn't nail it. And I was kinder to myself. As I've got older, I'm much kinder to myself. Maybe not when the kids were that bit younger. I was quite so forgiving of myself, but that recognizing that fallibility, and there is no end goal. We are just trying to do our best with everything that we have.
Yeah. And embracing the journey. Embracing the journey and the
Absolutely.
process of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so much to be grateful for with children, even though it's a hustle.
Hardest and the
Mm.
best.
Our hardest and the
Best
best.
job.
Mm.
Oh, brilliant. So I love that your son, that's my dream is for my boys as well to just pick up the phone and or whatever the latest technology is
Yeah.
and just say, hey mum, I need help, or mum, can I
Yeah.
chat with you, or even just like, hey mum, guess what I did, guess what I
Yes.
achieved.
Yeah, I'm the
um
person that gets the text message that when he's just passed his latest assignment, and you
wow.
know, and but one thing I would always advise parents to do: never leave any conversations off the table, ever. It doesn't matter how scared you are about the conversation about vaping, smoking, drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex. It's like always bring those conversations to the table with your children, because if they see that it's not wobbling you, they know you're a safe place to have those conversations with.
Or I'll have to tell you off camera the conversations I've had with my boys. Things that like my eldest is like, Mom, why are you talking about this with me? I'm like, because I just want to normalize it.
And get curious. Get
Yeah,
curious about what they think about these things,
yeah,
because young people think very linear. They think in the moment. They
yeah,
don't see all of the nuances. But when we get curious about those nuances, we then get to influence, not tell, but influence them. And teaching is so much more powerful than telling.
absolutely. The role modeling, it's just
Oh, 100%.
so
Yeah.
powerful. I'm all
Yeah.
for that, all for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what do you often dream or long for?
As a woman, as
Yeah, as a
a
woman,
family.
for yourself, because I'm so passionate about women
Yeah.
coming home
Yeah.
to themselves over and over and living the lives that they want to live.
Yeah. I'm a very simple human. I don't dream for stuff. I
Mm.
don't dream for a certain life. What I dream and I have, which I'm so grateful for, is stability, safety, warmth, peace, thriving relationships. They're the things that are really important to me. Financially, yeah, that creates stability and safety, financial stability. But actually, not my at my core. My core is good, healthy relationships within my world. And my world is a very small world. I will share that with you. I don't have a plethora of people that I have in my life. And I do that very consciously. Human beings, with due respect, drain our emotional energy. They absolutely do. And and therefore, I keep my world really small because my emotional energy is really important to me. And I want to direct that and use that in a way that is of value to my most important people, whether that be my children or my husband. And therefore, as a result, I keep my world quite small.
I love that. You and I are so aligned. It's uncanny.
I
Because
haven't got a social battery. I haven't got much of a social battery. I love my work. And remember, my work is
yeah,
really demanding on an emotional level. But it's taken me a long time to realize I can't be all things to all people. I can only be all things to the people that I choose to be all things to.
absolutely. Hallelujah. Yes to that. All of it. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Like we strive so much for those material things that we can't take. So, like when I talk about more, what do you dream of? It is about what really makes you tick. Who are
What
you at
matters?
the core?
Yeah, yeah,
Like what really truly deeply matters to you. I got
yeah,
goosebumps when you told me all that.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like the flashy cars and the handbags, and yeah, a nice holiday would be good. The money would be great for the impact that I can then put into the
yeah,
world. But
yeah.
that's the only reason I want the money.
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, absolutely. I'm not driven by money, but I think cuddling my dog brings me joy just because I feel warm, and it doesn't matter what sort of day I'm having. If I cuddle my dog, it makes me feel better. The simple things are really important to me. The
yeah,
complex things of life are really not important to me.
yeah. I think we can all learn so much from leaning into simplicity and just really stripping back.
But I also think that stems from a long history in my younger years of lack of safety.
Yeah.
And that's why I strive for safety and security and stability and peace so much, because I didn't have it. And at a time, maybe I should have had it. And therefore, it's even more important to me now.
Well, I just celebrate you so much for finding it for yourself, for realizing
Yes.
that that's what you need
Yeah, but then
without.
you've got to maintain it. Then you've got to maintain.
Wow, that's a whole other conversation. But
But isn't that about self-care? Isn't that
yeah,
actually about self-care? It's knowing your limits. It's what you do in your time. You take time out. I now learn that, yeah, I'm running Compass at the moment, and it's intense. I'm writing it, I'm recording it, I'm delivering it. It's intense. And actually, what I've done for the time frame that I'm actually writing and delivering, I've literally stripped everything else out of my life that doesn't include that, and also my rest and recharge.
Awesome. Good for you. That's yeah. Yeah. But we have to focus, we have to prioritize
Yeah,
definitely on
absolutely.
what's, the current
Yeah,
important thing for us.
yeah. And tomorrow, the current thing is going to be I'm starting a new book.
Oh, as in reading or
Reading a
writing.
book. Yeah. No, oh gosh, not right,
Writing
not
book.
writing, reading.
That's next year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, no.
You could write a great book.
I've
um,
already written one.
fantastic.
Yeah. Mm.
So, what is your biggest challenge right now?
My biggest challenge right now is managing my energy. As I said, I'm right in the middle of
Mm.
writing, recording, delivering, working with an incredible bunch of women at the moment who have teens. My biggest challenge is I keep having to check myself every day, every week of this is a lot. Where do I refuel my energy? Where do I add to my emotional energy and my emotional fuel tank? What do I need to be doing to make that, to ensure that I'm refueled sufficiently so that I can continue, doing what I'm doing without getting overwhelmed by it all. So that is my biggest challenge, is checking myself. And we don't check ourselves enough when everything's hitting. And taking that time out to go, I need half an hour to read that book, have that bath, go and do some exercise. Add water to my diet, more water to my diet, so that I'm feeling hydrated. And so really checking those small things. Now, as mums, we don't always have half an hour to go and do some exercise, but we might have time to take the dog for a walk,
And the
and
dog
that's
needs
really,
it anyway.
yes, yeah. So yeah, my biggest challenge right now is managing my emotional energy and making sure that I feel refueled.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's where it's powerful awareness, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Amazing. So, my final question, my bonus question that's fun is you seem to have, like, you're so self aware already. But my question is, how much would you have paid a fairy godmother back in the days to help you, or at any point, really? And what would a fairy godmother have helped you with? Or would you have needed one? Maybe not.
Well, I think there's something in the journey, isn't there? The growth and the journey. But if I'd have had a fairy godmother, I don't know about money, how much I would have paid. But what I would have loved to have seen is how life is now. I can't say in 10 years' time, but let's just say if I had a fairy godmother and she could give me a snapshot or a vision of what now looks like when mine were 2 or 3, oh wow, that would have been amazing.
That's
And this is where you
incredible.
would be.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just to give you that, that hope and that thing. But then would you have the lessons that you needed along the way if you
Well,
knew it
that
was coming? That's the
but yeah, that absolutely, because every anxiety, every worry has shaped where I am today. I agree with you. But can you imagine if somebody came to you and said, it's all going to be okay. It's
yeah.
all going to be okay. And
Yeah.
everybody that's listening to this, I want them to know it's all going to be okay.
It is all going to be okay.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
When you choose yourself.
When you choose yourself and you choose that balance, even it being, but it's recognizing that you feature in that balance too. We
Mm,
can't. Who we are, you know.
absolutely. Need to be the
Yeah.
leaders of our lives, the main character.
Women, as women, we've come from our ancestral lines. Women were dominant in the home, and in the last 50 years, we've taken on so many more roles, but yet we haven't dropped any of the balls we haven't put any of the balls down.
Well, my take on this, like the whole feminism has backfired, and like
Yeah,
society, like we were promised we could have it all, but society didn't shift with us, the economy didn't shift with us. Biologically,
yeah.
we're still the ones that bear children, and
But I
yeah,
don't know if we can have it all.
no, we can't. I don't think we can.
No,
This is what I
no.
mean. It's like we're promised we could have it all, but we can't have it all at once. We can if we prioritize it step by step,
Yeah,
but we have to choose what the next thing is.
Yeah, because if we try and spread ourselves too thin, we just feel like we're failing at everything.
Yeah.
So, we have to be intentional in what we're doing.
100%, 100%. Wow, it's been such a gift to talk to you today. So thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom.
You're so welcome.
And yeah, it's been a really great conversation.
It's been lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
You're listening to Confessions of a Working Mum. Much love and thanks goes to Nicola for her time and courage to share her story today. If you're listening to this and thinking, I should be fine, but I feel exhausted and overwhelmed all the time, I want you to know that you're not alone. You can look like you have it all together, be managing everything, carrying the mental load of everyone's lives, and still feel like something's missing from your own life. I want you to know that you're not doing life wrong. It's because you've been trying to do so much, often without the support or space you actually need. It stems from the beliefs and mindset that we've inherited from our own parents, society, and through the generations. But things can shift without doing more. You can reclaim your time, energy, and capacity by choosing yourself every day and releasing what was never yours to carry, so you slowly come back to yourself again. If something in this episode resonated and you're ready for that next level of support, you can download my free Overload Reset or get your free personalized permission oracle reading to start creating more space in your days. Or if you're feeling called to go deeper, you can explore a 60-minute one-to-one mind massage with me or the 4-month Unshakable Mama portal. Both spaces are designed to help you stop carrying it all alone. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you found it insightful, please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and feel free to share with another working mum who needs to hear this today.